His Excellencies, Professor Dr. Agus Hermanto, Deputy Speaker of the Indonesian House of Representatives, distinguished members of Parliament of the Republic of Indonesia. We have here Bapak Joko Ujianto, Bapak Satya Widya Yuda, Bapak Fikri Kasidi, Deputy Chief of Mission of the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia to the Kingdom of the Netherlands, Bapak Resto Krishna Kusuma, the General Secretary of the Indonesian Agency for Creative Economy. Bapak Ibu sekalian, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and friends. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace be upon us all. It is wonderful to be here in Rotterdam. This is my first time visiting the city. My wife Anissa, excuse me, I should say my beautiful wife Anissa. Well, you have to be very precise in addressing your wife. We are very excited to be here, and we hope to see more of the city. This morning, I went for a nice run. I really enjoyed the breeze and the beautiful view of this lively city, especially when I was crossing the iconic Erasmus Brug. Betul ya bacanya gitu ya? Erasmus Brug. Well, yes, it was a very nice city. I love to be here in Rotterdam. But yesterday was very chaotic for us because we had problems with our flight from Berlin to Amsterdam. And I was told that there was a strike by the airline's crew. But of course, that did not stop us for coming here to meet all of you tonight. My deep appreciation goes to our host, PPI Belanda, and the Erasmus University, as well as the organizing committee for the hard work in making this international conference in Indonesia Development, ICID 2.0, such a great experience. I'm sure all of us here are excited and grateful for this opportunity. So once again, let us give a big round of applause to all members of the committee. "26 years from now, in 2045, we will commemorate the 100th year of Indonesian independence. At that time, we hope that in the midst of a golden age, with yet another generation leading our great nation, this generation will rise on the back of our competitive and competent human capital. Not only should the generation of 2045 match the strength and spirit of the generation 1945, but also they will need to surpass the expectations of their elders. What Indonesia looks like in 2045 will be determined by the efforts of all people from all layers of society, including all of us here in this room. Most importantly, our transformation will require mental and also physical endurance as well as unwavering commitment. This transformation will be a marathon, not a sprint. And to turn challenges into opportunities, we must embrace change, particularly in relation to the information and communications technology brought forward by the Fourth Industrial Revolution. We will need to find ways to alleviate the pressures that the world will face, the potential for scarcity, competition, and even conflict on issues ranging from energy to food and water. Indonesia is a vast country with highly diverse cultures, and it is a country replete with potentials. But the largest potential among others would be its young demographics. The country's median age is 28.6 years. This indicates a potentially large workforce to sustain continuing growth going forward. Therefore, through the next decade, Indonesia will enjoy the peak of its demographic dividends. Of course, that can only happen when such workforce gains higher skills and also productivity. The Indonesian economy today is the world's 16th largest economy. A study by McKinsey projected the country to become the 7th largest economy in the world by 2030. Another study by PricewaterhouseCoopers went as far as to forecast that by 2050, Indonesia could be the 4th largest economy in the world. Certainly, Indonesia has plenty of reasons to be highly optimistic. It is with this high or positive hopes that we have set a vision for Indonesia 2045. A developed country with an open, just and prosperous society, a strong democracy, and a significant global player. Obviously, there is much to do for Indonesia to get there. But before we understand what it will take and how Indonesia can get there, let us backtrack a little and go back briefly in time. The story of Indonesia is a story of a successive generational leadership in its 74 years since the forming of the Republic. From the early days of President Sukarno to the present time of President Joko Widodo, each might have their own unique contextual challenges, but every leader contributes their best and builds upon the cumulative success of their predecessors. This reflects the different generational leadership and the true meaning of continuity and change. To build upon what the previous generation has done, to continue on with what has proved good for the country and its people, as well as the willingness to adapt and improve on the aspects that are needed in light of the current and future challenges. Indonesia's young generation need to have an understanding and appreciation of the past journey of our nation, because we can only go to where we want to if we understand where we have been. Dear colleagues and friends, we are on the brink of the 4th Industrial Revolution. It is marked by the fusion of technologies that blur the lines between the physical and digital world, just what Pak DCM has mentioned earlier. The impacts of the 4th Industrial Revolution will undoubtedly affect the political, economic, and socio-cultural landscapes. Let's talk about each of these three aspects in a bit more detail. First, the political landscape. The rise of social media has enabled citizens to voice their opinions, shape public discourses, coordinate and mobilize efforts, as well as engage the government in unthinkable ways before. When a local politician tweets online on a certain issue, the whole country could react and make their voices heard. This brings entirely different meaning to people's participation in the political process. Yes, there are positive and negative impacts here. The positive things are that now public opinion matters more than ever to the policymaking circles, in a sense that there is a decentralization of power and a more egalitarian communication platform. However, there are downsides to this as well. In recent times, we have seen growing abuse of the internet and the social media, the spread of hoax, fake news, or any other forms of disinformation has been increasing lately. Even more worrying is that some irresponsible parties are deliberately spreading hoax or false or hate speech through the social media. They are in fact capable of inciting people to violence that will only disrupt our unity and harmony as a nation. We should be grateful that in the post-reform democratic era, after 1998, we as citizens have enjoyed freedom, especially freedom of expression, or in expressing our opinions, and also freedom of associations. However, the freedom has to come with responsibilities. Freedom should not be expressed at the expense of the freedoms of others. Spreading false rumors or hoax should not be done on the pretext of the freedom of speech. One must always remember that hate speech is not free speech. Secondly, the economic landscape. Recent technologies have enabled new opportunities to arise. Digital economy has proved disruptive to many traditional businesses and provides avenues for new breed of entrepreneurs. 10 years ago, people might have been very skeptical about the prospects of e-commerce in Indonesia. But today, we are proud to see some homegrown digital startups graduating to become billion-dollar unicorns. More and more people, not just in Indonesia, but also in Southeast Asia, are now familiar with Gojek, Traveloka, Bukalapak, Tokopedia, just to name a few of our successful startups that is aggressively expanding. Of course, the opportunities in digital economy also mean that more than ever, we need to prepare ourselves for global competition. Digital businesses do not recognize the traditional geographical boundaries. Google, Facebook, Amazon, for examples, they all have expanded to even far corners of the world. Competition will come, whether we are ready or not. And I believe we can all agree that the key to success lies in the quality of our human resources. On the other hand, we will also see downsides to the fast-changing pace of digital economies. There will be jobs that become obsolete and even lost. There is also a growing trend towards informal employment rather than the regular or permanent employments as we used to understand. The traditional workforce will have to adapt, and the idea of job security will never be the same. This is where the government must step in and address the challenges. These cannot be left to market forces only. The government needs to ensure that there is a level playing field between businesses and that the benefits can be enjoyed by all, rather than just concentrated in the hands of a few. Reallocation of workforce into the new and growing sectors of the economy will require the right education and training to provide them with the necessary knowledge and skill sets. The collaboration between educational centers and industry players will be needed to ensure relevance. This whole perspective requires an inclusive development approach by the government. We believe that the government should consistently apply a four-track development strategy when it comes to harnessing the benefits of the fourth industrial revolution. These include pro-growth, pro-poor, pro-jobs, and pro-environment. The implementation of this strategy will help generate more economic opportunities, alleviate poverty and income inequality, create more jobs, and protect the environment. No one should get left behind. The overall purpose is to attain sustainable growth with equity. Only then we can reap the full economic benefits of the fourth industrial revolution. Yesterday, I was in Germany with Pak Agus Hermanto and delegates to visit and exchange views on issues regarding renewable energy and electric vehicles. We discussed relevant issues and challenges for a developing nation, such as Indonesia, and to gain and take the lessons learned from the Germany's experience. We also reached common understanding that environmental concerns should be viewed as collective responsibility for all countries in the world. And we look forward to the implementation of the Paris Agreement. Now let me come back to The third point I want to make on the impacts of the fourth industrial revolution, which is the socio-economic or socio-cultural ramifications. The members of millennial generation have a tendency to demand everything to happen instantly. You can order a product, watch movie and entertainment, get any information, contact with friends and family wherever they are, with a few clicks on your smartphones. However, there are downsides to this. It breeds the instant mindset. Instant gratification comes at a price. We are often unable to truly respect that some things do in fact take time and require process to happen. And there are things in life that we should never take for granted, including, among others, our national values and principles, as well as cultural heritage. They are a set of guiding principles and beliefs and views that govern our behavior and actions towards others in our society. In this context, I urge all young Indonesians here never to take for granted our national motto, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, unity in diversity. This motto and the Pancasila ideals were adopted by our founding fathers for some good reasons. For a country as diverse as Indonesia, our ability to embrace the values of pluralism is key. We must harness the different ethnic, religious, race, and cultural backgrounds to enrich our ways of thinking, to help complement each other, and to give us rounded perspectives. In short, we must find ways of adapting to the changes of time without losing those core fundamental values that bring us together and strengthen us as one common people, the Indonesian people. These cultures and ethics should remain the basis of our vibrant society, one that balances between progress and cultural heritage, between innovation and tradition. Dear colleagues and friends, Indonesia has just concluded its national election earlier this year. There were concerns that identity politics have crept in and become a permanent feature of our democracy. But in the end, as a nation, I am proud to say that we are able to demonstrate that our democracy has indeed matured. We have shown once again that Islam, modernity, and democracy can be a powerful partnership. To be frank, such a concern not just happening in Indonesia. We have seen the backlash of globalization, taking a variety of different forms and shapes in recent times, across all corners of the world. The ideas behind America First, Brexit, and on the far end of the spectrum, ultranationalism are some of the dynamics occurring in many countries today. The rapid changes of globalization often bring about these ugly side effects. This is exactly why we must reject the precept that globalization produces winners and losers. It does not have to be a zero-sum game. Instead, we must find ways to harness it so that we can all be winners altogether. Now, what does it take for us to be the winners? The globalized world of the 21st century will certainly become a lot more complex and competitive. The population will grow from 7.7 billion people today to about 10 billion by 2050. This will mean increasing demand for natural resources, for living space, for food, and for fresh water. Technology will be key to unlocking new ways and methods for mankind to meet these expanding needs. History has shown that those who survive in natural selection are not necessarily the strongest or the biggest, but the most adaptive. We have to be ready to play active roles in the ever-changing political, economic, and socio-cultural landscapes. For me, there are three imperatives to be the winners in the 21st century. First, we need to build on our intellectual capacity. Building intellectual capacity is not only done through formal education, but also through keeping a healthy sense of intellectual hunger and curiosity. We need to adopt the concept of lifelong learning, constantly looking to upgrade our knowledge and skills. It is about knowing what you know and knowing what you don't know. And always be open to people and to new ideas. By doing so, we will be able to breed a new generation that is able to think, create, and innovate. Every one of you here has the education, the training, and the intellectual talent to succeed. I have no doubt about it. However, high intelligence alone is not enough. We need to have strong character and integrity. Young people of today need to have a never give up mentality, the courage to leave their comfort zones and to make bold decisions, as well as the willingness to take risks to serve a bigger purpose in life. Personal integrity is also key, because without a clear moral compass, we may end up misusing our talents and intellectual capacity. The never give up mentality could be represented by the story of Thomas Alva Edison, one of the greatest inventors in our history. I think we all know who Thomas Alva Edison was. And he held more than 1,000 patents, a record for many decades. But not everyone appreciates his ups and downs along the way. Ups and downs of his journey. He was fired from his 2 jobs for being non-productive. He had conducted 1,000 failed experiments. But on his 1,001st experiment, he produced the light bulb. And it changed the history of mankind forever. Imagine what would happen if Thomas Alva Edison simply quit at a time. So remember, every failure is one step closer to success. Do what you feel passionate about. Take chances and fight for what you believe in. Last but not least, we need to have leadership quality. A leader is someone who has clear vision and the ability to motivate and persuade others to work together towards that vision. To lead is to take responsibility for others, even in the face of adversity. A good leadership will have a positive multiplier effect to the joint efforts of the group. A true leader inspires the whole team with a clear vision to dream big. He brings out the best of people to work hard together towards that vision. And he provides the consistency and courage to move forward, to never give up, even when things get tough or faced with uncertainty. So dream big, work hard, never give up. Colleagues and friends, now I know that the main topic for tonight revolves around the opportunities and challenges posed by the 4th Industrial Revolution. But this is supposed to be an inspirational speech as well, right? So before I end my talk here, I want to share with you a little bit of a personal story, my own journey and experience over the years. I hope this could shed some light to all of you. Nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risk. Nothing. There's an old IQ test with 9 dots, if you remember that. And you have to draw lines connecting all these dots without lifting the pencil. And the only way to do it is to go outside the box. So don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail. In life, many people will tell you to have something to fall back on. I challenge that. I will instead get myself back up on my own 2 feet and move forward. Without consistency and perseverance, you will never finish what you start. People remember the home runs, but not the failed attempts. Without the courage to fail, there could be no success. Remember the story of Thomas Alva Edison just now. You will fail at some point in your life. Accept it, embrace it, because it is inevitable. Sometimes you succeed, sometimes you learn. Do not quit. When you're down or you find yourself at your lowest point, get up and move forward. Do not blame on anyone else, and never ever feel that life is unfair. You're the one who is responsible for yourself. This is the kind of mindset that we need to have in order to achieve success and great things in life. Colleagues and friends, I'm encouraged by what I see here today, the lively spirits in this room. The efforts to collaborate and cooperate are evident from all of you who have organized this event. And I'm strengthened in the belief that together we can bring a better future for our country and the world we live in. You have been privileged to have the opportunity to study and live abroad. Learn all you can. Develop your potentials to the fullest. Many of you here are going to travel the world, speak to thousands of people, and make impacts on lives. The chances you take, the people you meet, and the faith that you have within yourself, those will define you. Never be discouraged, never hold back. Do the best you can do, and be the best you can be. And last but not least, never forget that you are an Indonesian. This is and will always be your true identity. We are proud of you, and we hope that one day you will also join us in giving back to Indonesia. It doesn't matter where you reside in this world today. It doesn't matter how many years it takes for you to return. So long as you love your country and find ways to contribute to the future of our nation, you will be a true patriot for Indonesia. This is the true meaning of patriotism in the 21st century. I wish you all the best in your endeavor, your study, your research, your thesis, dissertation, and your future career path. And I look forward to hearing your achievements. Together, we will achieve Indonesia Emas 2045. Thank you. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.